Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Caitanya Charitāmrita Overview class. Thank you for joining in. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Caitanya Charitāmrita. We are on Madhya lila. Last time we completed chapter 1, which is entitled The Later Pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in first chapter, Kaviraj Goswami, he summarizes the Madhya lila, the entire Madhya lila and some portion of the Antya lila also. So in this second chapter, Kaviraj Goswami describes the pastimes of Antya lila, which happened in last 12 years of Mahaprabhu's stay in this world. So as we know, Mahaprabhu stayed on this planet for 48 years. Out of that, 24 years they are called as Adi Lila, and rest 24 years they are called as Shesha Lila. And Shesha Lila is divided into two parts, Madhya lila and Antya lila. So Madhya lila comprises 6 years where Mahaprabhu traveled to all the places. Sometimes he went to Vrindavan, sometimes to Gauda, sometimes to South India. That is 6 years. So that is called as Madhya lila. And the remaining 18 years is called as Antya lila. In those 18 years, 6 years he was meeting devotees, he was instructing them. All the devotees from Navadvip, they would come every year. Mahaprabhu would meet them, give instructions to them. But in last 12 years, he was not meeting anyone. He was just in Gambhira, experiencing the feelings of separation from Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So in this second chapter, Kaviraj Goswami, what he does is, he summarizes the last 12 years of Mahaprabhu's life. Because Kaviraj Goswami is not sure whether he'll live or not. Iha madhye marijabe varnitena paritabe ei lila bhakta ganadhan sangshepe sutra koila ei iha nali khila age taha kari bhavichar yadi tat adin jiye mahaprabhur kripa hoye ichha bhari kari bhavistar. So Kaviraj Goswami is not sure whether he'll live or not. So therefore he is writing a synopsis of all the pastimes in the beginning of this Madhya lila, writing the synopsis of Madhya lila and Antya lila also. So he has given a synopsis of Antya lila in this chapter. So now in the first verse, Kaviraj Goswami describes what is the subject matter of the second chapter. Vichhede asmin prabhur antya lila sutranu varnane gaurasya krishna vichheda pralapadyanu varnayate. So Kaviraj Goswami is writing that in this chapter, Vichhede Asmin, in this chapter, Prabhur Antya lila, the Antya lila pastimes, I will describe. In those Antya lila pastimes, what is being described? Pralap Adi. Mahaprabhu is really speaking as if he is mad. Because of separation from Krishna, he is really Gaurasya Krishna Vicheda, because he is separated from Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. He is experiencing feelings of separation. And Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the purport that why Kaviraj Goswami is using the word Gaura. Gaurasya Krishna Vicheda Pralap Adi Anuvarnyate. I am going to describe the madness of Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So why Mahaprabhu is called as addressed by the name Gaura? Because Krishna generally he's black, but when he is absorbed in the mood of gopis, they are all fair. So Krishna also becomes fair complexioned. So Mahaprabhu is just because he is absorbed in the mood of gopis, he is fair complexioned. Gaurasya Krishna Vicheda Pralapadi Anuvarnyate. So therefore he becomes fair skinned. And that's how Mahaprabhu, his feelings of separation are like the feelings of a lover who is, dejected because he's separated. She is separated from the beloved. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Like in every chapter, in this chapter also, Kaviraj Goswami, he glorifies Panchatattva again. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And then from 3rd to 8 verses, he describes amazing, unparalleled bodily transformations of Mahaprabhu. And specifically in the next section, in the last section, 11 to 14 verses. So Kaviraj Goswami continues that in last 12 years, Mahaprabhu, he was just staying in Gambhira, always in feelings of separation. And just like Radharani, she was showing her feelings of separation when Uddhava came to visit Vrindavan. And Bhagavatam describes in detail what was the mood of Radharani. She was completely speaking like a mad woman. All the various types of jalpa, Sanjalpa, Prajalpa, Ujjalpa, all various types of jalpa, speaking like a mad lady. Shri Radhikara Cheshta Yena Uddhava Darshane Ei Mata Dasha Prabhu Hai Ratri Dine. It's like Radharani, she was completely speaking like a mad lady. She was not even understanding that whether a bumblebee is moving around or some person, a bumblebee comes. And as Uddhava has come with a message from Krishna, and as Uddhava is speaking, a bumblebee comes around and starts moving, buzzing. And Radharani, she is thinking, oh, you are black, you are coming from Krishna. And Krishna has sent you. Your master is, a very, very, he is a cheat. He has sent, he has loved, he has trapped all of us, and now he has gone. And now he has sent you, and you are also smiling at us. Go away. Tell your master that we don't need him. All these things are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then bumblebee goes away. And then Radharani is saying, oh, what if, this bumblebee goes back and tells Krishna what I spoke? Oh, Krishna will feel very bad. Oh, and then she starts crying. Completely like mad. So when Mahaprabhu was in Gambhira, he was also showing the same ecstatic mood. Shri Radhika Cheshta Yena Uddhava Darshane Seimata Dasha Prabhu Hoye Ratri Dine. Day and night, Mahaprabhu was in that mood only. Nirantar Hoye Prabhura Viraho Unmad Brahmamaye Cheshta Sada Pralapamaye Vad. Nirantar. Constantly, Mahaprabhu was just experiencing Viraha Unmad, Pralap. He was speaking like a mad person, and he was feeling in a complete waves of madness of separation. Nirantar, not that one time he would experience, other time he would be constantly, he would be crying. Nirantar hai prabhur virah unmad. His mind was constantly absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, feeling that Krishna is gone. And in that mood, Brahmamaya Cheshta Sada, he was always, it seemed that he is always forgetful of the things, of his body, of his situation. Pralapamayavad, and he would speak like a mad person. So Mahaprabhu, as we'll be hearing, the wonderful ecstatic symptoms of Mahaprabhu, and they may look like a symptom of a person who is really mad. Interestingly, as Mahaprabhu was dancing and showing all these ecstatic symptoms in Gambhira, he knew that in future, many people will imitate these symptoms. Not all the symptoms can be imitated. Whatever Mahaprabhu, shows, as we'll hear, they are not possible to be imitated. But some of the symptoms can be imitated by people. Shved, Kamp, Romanch, Ashru, Gadgad, Vaivarnya, Unmad, Vishad, Garva, Harsha, Dainya, Eta Bhave, Prema, Bhakta, Ganera, Na Chaye, Premir, Anandamrit, Sagare, Bhasai. Devotees who are really in ecstatic mood, they exhibit all these symptoms. Sweating, trembling, hair standing on end, tears flowing from their eyes like syringe, voice faltering, changing of the color of the skin, speaking like a mad person, sometimes crying, sometimes lamenting, sometimes feeling proud, sometimes feeling very humble. All these symptoms can be imitated to a certain extent. And Mahaprabhu was aware of this. So Mahaprabhu, as he was showing all these ecstatic symptoms in Gambhira, in Jagannath Puri, he had sent Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami to write literatures so that the people of the world can be aware of the science behind this ecstatic symptom. What is actual devotion? What is sadhana bhakti? What is bhava bhakti? What is prema bhakti? Exact definitions are given. How to understand if somebody is at the level of bhava bhakti? Very, very elaborately Rupa Goswami writes, Shantir avyartha kalatvam virakti mana shunyata आशा बंद समुत्कंठा नामगाने सदारुचि आसक्तिस्तद्गुणाख्याने प्रीतिस्तद्वसति स्थले इति आदयोनुभावास्यु जात भावांकुरे जने. These are the 9 symptoms of a person who is at the level of bhava, and these symptoms cannot be imitated, for a long time. Shanti, perseverance, tolerance, avyartha kalatvam, not wasting a moment. Always thinking of Krishna. Virakti, detachment from the material world. Mana shunyata, no desire for personal prestige. Asha band, always hopeful. Samutkantha, always eager. Asakti stad gunakhyane, always absorbed and attached to singing the glories of the Lord. Priti stad vasati sthale, always attracted to his residing in the place where Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna has performed pastimes. So all these symptoms, they cannot be imitated. So Mahaprabhu, he gave instructions to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, you go and write scriptures. Tumi koriha bhakti shastrera prachar, Mathuraya lupta tirthera koriha uddhar, Vrindavane Krishna seva Vaishnava achar, Bhakti smriti shastra koriha prachar. Write literatures, excavate holy places, establish temples, and preach by your own example. So therefore, all these bodily symptoms which Mahaprabhu is showing, of course, most of these symptoms which we'll be hearing now, they cannot be imitated. But some of the other symptoms, they can be imitated. But Mahaprabhu is very, very, very cautious. He's not forgetful of the realities of the world. In our ecstatic devotional service, in our ecstasies, we should not forget the practical realities of the world. Oh, I don't care about the world. I am I am absorbed in devotional service. I can do whatever I want. No, we have to be really careful of how people will respond to our devotional ecstasies. And they should not take it in a wrong way. So that's how Mahaprabhu was doing. So what all symptoms Mahaprabhu was manifesting? Blood was pouring from each and every pore of his body. And his teeth will be loosened sometimes. And the mood of separation, sometimes his body would become thin, sometimes body would become fat. Who can do all these things? Not possible to imitate. If you have been to Jagannath Puri, Gambhira, Gambhira is a very small room. And Mahaprabhu, he would stay whole day, whole night in his room, and he would not sleep for a moment. If we don't sleep for a day, we can't function properly. Prabhupada would tell that if you sleep too much, you become lazy. If you sleep too less, you become crazy. Mahaprabhu, he was not sleeping at all. And even if sometimes he would sleep, he would get up without any notice. Nobody would know when he would get up. Because this body, material body, needs sleep. Spiritual body doesn't need sleep. And we can see in the life of pure devotees, Srila Prabhupada, how much he would sleep. He would sleep for just few hours. Shad Goswamis, Nidrahara Viharakadi Vijitao Chatyanta Dino Chayo. Yeah, they had given up eating, sleeping. Raghunath Das Goswami would just drink few, a palmful of buttermilk once in 3 days. Still, he was healthy. And we know the story. One time, he had indigestion. And the Vaidya comes and says he has eaten too much sweet rice. And devotees are about to, beat this Vaidya, because they were thinking this person is not eating anything. And you are saying he has got indigestion because he has eaten too much of sweet rice. And then Raghunath Das Goswami says, yes, actually, I was in meditation and I had made sweet rice. And, Radharani, after feeding Krishna, she gave me all the sweet rice and I ate everything. So spiritual ecstasies nourish the body. And when the body is completely spiritual, they don't need anything material. So Mahaprabhu, he was not sleeping at all. Sometimes he would be so desperate to meet Krishna, he would just rub his face against the walls. He would grind his teeth, grind his mouth and face against the wall. And all over his face, so many injuries would be there. And the devotees, they knew that Mahaprabhu can, run anytime, anywhere in ecstasy, calling for Krishna. So they would, completely lock the doors from outside. So there were 3 doors. And all these 3 doors were locked. But still, Mahaprabhu would be out. He would go out. Sometimes he would be in front of Simhadwar. Sometimes he would fall flat and see. One time, the story comes that one time Mahaprabhu was not in Gambhira and he went running out and devotees are searching, where is Mahaprabhu? And then they find that there's one fisherman. He is behaving in a very weird way because, he was, doing his job of fishing. And it seemed that he has caught a big fish. And just by the touch of the body of this apparent looking fish, he started developing symptoms of ecstasy. He was crying, he was shouting. And all the devotees, they realized that maybe he has caught Mahaprabhu in his net. And he has touched Mahaprabhu. Just by the touch of Mahaprabhu, he has also become ecstatic. And he is thinking, I am haunted by ghost. So therefore, if somebody is not in tune with devotional service, even if he is given a glimpse of what is ecstasy, he may not understand it. And he may feel that I am haunted by ghost, I am abnormal. So therefore, to process the devotional ecstasy, we also require help and support of devotees, and we should have the knowledge of devotion. Otherwise, we will advance, we'll get some sample of pure devotional service, and we'll be thinking, maybe it is not the right thing which I am receiving. So that's how we have to be really careful. Just like this fisherman, he was thinking, I'm haunted by ghost. So therefore, the more we advance in Krishna consciousness, naturally we will lose our taste for all the material things. And if we are not in tune, if we are not connected to the process of Krishna consciousness, very nicely, we may start thinking after certain years, am I doing right? Because I am not developing connection with Krishna, and I am not able to enjoy also. And I'm losing the desire to, enjoy this world, but I want it. That should be the moment of celebration. But if we are not really aware of our fortune, then there may be doubt. So that requires a regular practice of devotional service, sadhana bhakti, regular association. Some time back, Radhanath Swami Maharaj was addressing some of the devotees, and he was telling that we have to take shelter of chanting. To advance in Krishna consciousness, we have to take shelter of chanting. We have to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya Caritāmrta, Bhagavad Gita. We have to take shelter of prayers, praying to Krishna. We have to take shelter of Radha Gopinath. And then Maharaj said very, very important thing. And he said, none of these things will be sustainable if we are not taking shelter of devotees around us. So that's how it is very, very important, to have devotee association. Because in devotee association, we experience Krishna. Bhakti, Pareshanu, Bhavo, Virakti, all these things will come. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So Mahaprabhu would be really ecstatic. Sometimes he would see a sand dune because of the waves, because of the wind on the, in Jagannath Puri, it would create small, small hills, and they were called as sand dunes. Out of sand, they were made. And one of that sand dune was called as Chatak Parvat. Mahaprabhu, when he would see this sand dune, he would think it is Govardhan. Sometimes he would be in the parks of Jagannath Puri, and he would think that this is Vrindavan. That is the vision of a Mahabhagavat. Of course, he's Radharani, in the mood of Radharani, Krishna in the mood of Radharani. That is the mood of Radharani. And we are supposed to be followers of Mahaprabhu and the entire Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. We have to see this world in this consciousness itself. We have to see everything in connection with Krishna. That's what Bhagavad Gita tells. That is, described in 7th chapter. Shabda khe paurusham rishu punyo gandha pritivyam cha tejas chasmi vibhavaso. So all these things, rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashishurayo pranavas sarva vedeshu. Shabda khe paurusham. What is all this? Whatever we are seeing in this world, we have to be conscious of Krishna. That is actual Krishna consciousness. And 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita is same. Opulence of the absolute. Whatever attractive, powerful and opulent things we are seeing in this world, we have to connect them to Krishna. Just like Mahaprabhu is doing. Of course, for Mahaprabhu is not a practice. It is natural outcome of a heart which is full of Krishna's love. So wherever sthavar jangam dekhi na dekhe tara murti sarvatra hoye nij dev ishtadeva spurti. For a pure devotee, they see Krishna everywhere. They don't see Sthavar, Jangam. They don't see moving and non-moving living entities. They see Krishna everywhere. They see Krishna in heart of everyone. So Mahaprabhu would be absorbed in these thoughts and he would be really experiencing transcendental bliss. This viraha bhava, this vipralamba bhava, for us, being separated is not a good thing from our beloved. But in spiritual world, this is the highest level of happiness. The joy and the happiness one experiences when one is separated from Krishna. That means the desire and the anticipation to be with Krishna is so great when somebody is separated from Krishna. That level of eagerness is not there when Krishna is present personally. Of course, we cannot understand what is all this. We can just speak one or two statements, that's all. Only pure devotees, they can understand this vipralamba bhava. So Mahaprabhu, sometimes he would see the sand dunes as Govardhan, small parks to be Vrindavan, and he would be singing and dancing and chanting like a madman. Sometimes he would be unconscious. Sometimes he would fall down. And then Kaviraj Goswami describes some extraordinary bodily transformations of Mahaprabhu. Kaha nahi shuniye bhavera vikar. Say bhava hai prabhur sharire prachar. Kaha nahi shuni. You will not find, you will not hear anywhere such type of extraordinary bodily transformations. Say bhava hai prabhur sharire prachar. There is only one place, one personality in the entire creation where you will find such bodily transformations. Nowhere else you will find. So if somebody says that, so Mahaprabhu writes that the ecstatic transformations which Mahaprabhu is, Srila Prabhupada writes that ecstatic transformations which Mahaprabhu is showing, that is Mahabhava. Rupa Goswami describes them in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Mahabhava. And the embodiment of Mahabhava is Radharani. Mahabhava Swarupai Radha Thakurani Sarvaguna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. Mahabhava Swarupa. The embodiment of Mahabhava is Radha Thakurani, Srimati Radharani. And Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani only. Radha Bhava Dviti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. So only he can experience such Mahabhava. Nobody else. So Prabhupada writes some Sahajiyas, they artificially imitate these pastimes, these ecstatic symptoms. But pure devotees, the advanced devotees, they reject. Nobody can experience. Because such transformations are not found anywhere. Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Prabhupada writes, author is admitting that you will not find anywhere. So if somebody is imitating, that means he is just faking it. What all things would be happening? The joints of the hands and legs of Mahaprabhu would be separated by 8 inches. And only skin would be covering the 2 bones. Unimaginable. Sometimes Mahaprabhu's hand, legs, and head would enter the body just like the tortoise withdraws all its limbs. Who can do it? So in this way, Mahaprabhu is showing all these ecstatic transformations. And actually, Kaviraj Goswami says, all these are not supposed to be told to public. But what can I do? If I'll not tell, nobody will know. And even if I'm writing, some people are claiming, why are you writing all this? Yadi ke ahina koe grantha koila shlokamaya itar jana nari bebuchite. Iha shloka du ichari tara vyakya bhasha kari. He says, people are saying, you have written this book full of Sanskrit shlokas. Bhagavad is full of shlokas. Bhagavata shlokamay tika tara Sanskrit hoye tabu kaiche bujhe tribhuvan. Iha shloka dui chari tara vyakya bhasha kare kaiche na bujibe sarvajan. So he's saying, I have written only few shlokas and people are thinking, Arey, what have you written? Kaun samjhega itna Sanskrit? Arey, Bhagavatam is full of Sanskrit. And the tippani, the commentary is also in Sanskrit. And whole world is understanding. And you are saying, who will understand this? Yeah. And then Kaviraj Goswami says that if I will not speak these pastimes, nobody will understand it. Therefore, out of my audacity, out of my, shamelessness, I am writing it. Because it is my duty to write. If I will not write, what will I show? What face I'll show to Raghunath Das Goswami and all the Brajvasis? Because Brajvasis have given me instructions. That's why I'm writing. Otherwise, these things are not supposed to be written. Payayara Agyadhan Brajera Vaishnavagan Bando Tara Mukhya Haridas Caitanya Vilasa Sindhu Kallo Lera Eka Bindu Tara Kana Kahe Krishnadas. Because I have received the instructions of Brajvasis, that's why I'm writing. So Mahaprabhu sometimes would be really disappointed. Sometimes he would be really hopeless that I will not see Krishna. I will not meet Krishna. Where is Krishna? It may seem very similar, right? Sometimes as a practicing sadhaka, when we are beaten down by our anarthas, by our mind, we also feel hopeless and we also feel disappointed. We feel, I am so fallen. I am so, sinful. Even after practicing Krishna consciousness for so many years, still I have such sinful thoughts, such wretched thoughts, and it creates really feeling of disappointment and hopelessness. Our hopelessness and Mahaprabhu's hopelessness is not the same. Our hopelessness comes when we are really frustrated and we can't take shelter of Krishna. When we think too much about our fallen condition, then we become hopeless and disappointed. For pure devotees, that is not the case. They are free of all these anarthas. So many times, sadhakas, practicing devotees, they go through these phases of disappointment and frustration and to the extent of depression. Because they can't handle that. How come these fallen thoughts can come in my mind? We forget that it is just a sample. Because millions of lifetimes, all the kachra is stored in the mind. What all things will come up, who knows? All the wretched thoughts will come up, which we have never imagined in our whole life, this life. So we have to just be patient and we have to be hopeful. Don't give so much importance to our mind. So Mahaprabhu's symptoms of hopelessness and disappointment is not like ours. He is disappointed in the mood of Srimati Radharani. What to speak of when Krishna is not there? There is a story one time, Radharani is with Krishna and Madhumangal is also there and all the gopis, gopas, they are there. And a honeybee comes and starts troubling Radharani. So Krishna tells Madhumangal, just, shoo this honeybee away. So Madhumangal, he just drives that honeybee away. And he comes back and tells, Madhu has gone. So hearing this, Radharani, for her, Madhu represents Krishna, another name of Krishna, Madhava, Madhu. So she's thinking Krishna is gone, although Krishna is right there in front of her. And she starts crying, lamenting, and she is practically falling unconscious. So that is Radharani. Even if Krishna is right there in front, still, the word Krishna is gone. That also creates all these ecstatic symptoms. That creates desperation. So Mahaprabhu is in the mood of that. And that's why he has come. The entire purpose of the primary reason for appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is he wanted to experience the glory of Radharani's love. He wanted to experience what is there in me, which Radharani is experiencing, the gopis are experiencing, and what is the quality of Radharani's love. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, Ki Drisho Va Nayaiva, Smadhyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima, Ki Drisho Va Madhya, Saukhyam Chasya Madanubhavataha, Ki Drisho Veti Lobhat, Tadbhavadya Samajani Shachigarbha Sindhu Harindu. What is there in me which these gopis are experiencing? What is the joy? So this primary reason was fulfilled primarily in these 12 years of Gambhira, where actually Mahaprabhu, actually Krishna is experiencing the Radha Bhava Mahima. And then Kaviraj Goswami goes into detail what all feelings Radharani had. Kaha mor prananath murali vadan, kaha karo kaha pao brajendra nandan. Sometimes in the mood of Radharani, Mahaprabhu is saying, Kaha mora prananath, where is the Lord of my life? Who is playing flute, Murli Vadan? Where will I find him? What shall I do now? Kaha pao, kaha karo? What will I do? What shall I do? Where will I find him? In this way, sometimes Mahaprabhu would cry. Kaha re kahibe ke ba jane mora dukh, Brajendra Nandana Vinu Phate Mora Bukha. Mahaprabhu is saying, who can, understand my disappointment? Because without Krishna, my heart is really breaking. Where will I find the son of Nanda Maharaj? To whom shall I speak? Nobody is understanding. What I am going through, nobody is understanding. Only Krishna, only Radharani can understand what she is experiencing. Nobody else can understand. So in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Mahaprabhu is saying, who will understand? Nobody is understanding my disappointment. And later, he's in the mood of Radharani. Radharani tells that nobody is understanding. Even my Sakhis are not understanding. They're just telling me, oh Sakhi, oh Radharani, be patient. You will get Krishna. Hey, they will never understand what I am going through. In this way, Mahaprabhu expressed bewilderment and disappointment. And in this mood of ecstatic separation, Mahaprabhu had two intimate associates, Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. They would constantly give him solace. Of course, Swarup Damodar Goswami is Lalita Devi, Ramananda Rai is Vishakha Devi. They would constantly give solace. Ramananda Rai had written a whole drama, and that is called as Jagannath Vallabh Natak. Mahaprabhu would read, and he would get pacified by reading this. So in that, the symptoms of Radharani is mentioned, the lamentation of Radharani is mentioned. So Radharani is lamenting that, oh Krishna, so she's telling her friends, our Krishna does not realize what type of misery he is inflicting on us. Because, what is happening to us, we are misused by love. And our lover doesn't even know that how we are suffering. And actually, even Cupid does not know our position. Of course, Cupid will never know. Because it is not the mundane Cupid, mundane lust. So ordinary lust means I want for myself. Atmendriya priti vancha tare boli kam, Krishnendriya priti ichha dhare prema naam. But love means only for Krishna, nothing for me. So Radharani is saying, what can I tell anyone? Nobody is ready to understand. Nobody will understand. Actually, in this world, no one can understand others' difficulties. Only a person who is going through a problem can understand what problem he is going through. So what will I tell others? And then she's saying, and the worst part is, Krishna is attracted to us because we are youthful. And the youth stays for few days only, for some time. So after this youth is gone, Krishna will not even look at us. That is a mood of desperation Radharani is going through. And then she is saying that, after I met Krishna, I thought that I'll be happy. But Krishna has given me more pain. So that is a problem. कुटिल प्रेमा ज्ञान नाही जाने स्थान स्थान भाल मंद नारे विचारिते क्रूर शाठेर गुण दोरे हाथे गोले बांधी मोरे रखी आचे नारी उकाशिते. So he's saying that those who are not sufficient with knowledge, they enter into all this business of love. They don't understand what is going to happen, because this nature of love is so crooked that the love doesn't realize this is suitable place to exhibit symptoms or not suitable place. No discrimination is remaining. So therefore we don't know what is going to happen. I am feeling such separation, and Krishna is so unkind. You know what he has done? Krura shathera guna dore hate gole bandhi more. He has bound my hands and legs, and he is just not even giving any relief. And then she says, in all these things, there is a person called as Cupid, Madan. And Madan, although he doesn't have a gross body, he is Ananga, but he is expert in giving pains to others. And he has 5 arrows with which he shoots and inflicts all the miseries. So therefore, I cannot understand what will happen to me. And all my friends, they keep consoling me. Oh, my friend, don't worry, be patient. So Radharani is saying, I am telling my friend, you are asking me to be patient. How can I be patient? Because you are telling in future Krishna will accept me. Future what? Youth is going. So when will Krishna accept? Because Krishna is attracted because we are youthful. And and then she's saying that anyways humans live for 100 years maximum, and in that youth lasts for some years. So what will happen to us if we become old and Krishna will not get attracted to us? Then we are gone. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is experiencing the feelings of separation. And then the next section is really amazing, from 28th verse to 34th verse. Although, hearing all these different discussions, we may think that Mahaprabhu is not aware of the externals. He is just oblivious to the external world, and he is speaking like a mad person. But this next section very nicely describes how Mahaprabhu is very much aware of the philosophy of Bhagavatam. Of course, he has given Bhagavatam, that is his pastime. But in this mood also, he is speaking perfect Bhagavatam philosophy. So being a advanced devotee doesn't mean, I don't need any of these philosophical discussions. I am with Krishna. My sentiments are for Krishna. A pure devotee, although he may be having feelings and sentiments for Krishna, but he's very much aware of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So the next section, very exactly matches with the second canto of Bhagavatam, first chapter, where the sages of Naimisharanya, they are they are encouraging Suta Goswami to speak more. And they compare the various bodily parts of to particular things if they are not used in service of Krishna. So that is what will be spoken by Mahaprabhu. And he says, Shri Krishna Rupadis Nishevanam Vina Vyarthani Me Hani Akhilendriyanyalam Pashana Shushkendhana Bharakanyaho Viparmi Vatani Katham Hatatrapaha Oh, my dear friends, unless I serve the transcendental name, form, and the pastimes of Krishna, all my senses, vyarthani alam, all my eyes, ears, tongue, touch, smell, no, they are all waste. They are useless. So if I am not using my body and my senses in serving Krishna, they are all useless. And therefore, because I am not able to serve Krishna, Radharani is telling that I am not able to serve Krishna. I'm just carrying the useless burden of my body and my senses. So therefore, I don't know how long will I live in with such shame. And beautiful verses come there. Vamshi Ganamrit Dham Lavanyamrit Janmasthan Yena Dekhe Se Chandavadan Senayane Ki Bakaj Paduk Tare Mundevaj Senayane Raho Ki Karan. Vamshi Ganamrit Dham, the face of Krishna, which resembles moon. The face of Krishna is like moon. And when Krishna is playing his flute, that flute is the birthplace of all the wonderful sound. Nectarian sound is coming from the flute. And his beautiful face is the reservoir of nectar. Krishnanga Lavanya, at other place, Kaviraj Goswami is writing, Krishnanga Lavanya Pur Madhur Hoite Sumadhur Tate Mukha Sudhakar. Madhur Hoite Sumadhur Taha Hoite Sumadhur Tara Ei Smita Jyotsna Bhar. Krishnanga Lavanya Pur, Krishna's body is city of beauty. Madhur Hoite Sumadhur. And in this city of beauty, the best part is Mukha Sudhakar, the lotus face of Krishna. Madhur hoite sumadhur taha hoite sumadhur. And in this most beautiful part of Krishna's body, the lotus face, the best part is Tara e smita jyotsna bhar, the beautiful smiling face. Smile of Krishna is the best part. So therefore, this smile is the abode of all beauty. It is the birthplace of beauty. And when Krishna plays flute, entire world gets mesmerized. Sadvam shatastav jani purushottamasya panau sthiti muralike saralasi jatya kasma tvaya sakhi guru vishama grihita gopangana gana vimohana mantra diksha. So this is a very beautiful verse comes in Bhagavatam. So all these gopis, they are telling flute, oh flute, you have taken birth in such a nice family. You have taken birth from a bamboo. Sadvamshatastav jani. And now you have, got this wonderful fortune of being placed in the hand of Krishna. Pano sthiti muralike sarala. You're so saral, you're so straight, Murali is straight. Saralasi jatya, you are so saral. You have taken birth from such a wonderful family. But why you have taken initiation in such a ghastly mantra? Kasma tvaya sakhi guru vishama grihita. Because the sound which is coming from you is really bewildering our minds. Gopangana gana vimohana mantra diksha. You have initiated yourself in a mantra which can bewilder all the gopis. So that is how, Nija samasaka sange gogana charana range brindabane sachanda vihar yara veno dhvani suni sthavara jangama prani pulaka kampa ashru bahedhar. So when Krishna plays flute, unimaginable things happen in Vrindavan. The cows, they stop moving. With their ears raised, they are hearing the sound of Krishna's flute. The calves, they are drinking the milk. With their mouth full of the milk, they are stunned. The birds, they sit on the branches with their eyes closed. They are hearing the beautiful sound. The trees stop moving. The breeze stops blowing. The river stops flowing. All the deers, they stop. Stones are melting. So therefore, in this verse, Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani is saying, Vamshi Ganamrita Dham Lavanyamrita Janmasthan. It is the birthplace of beauty. When Krishna is playing his flute, the beautiful face is the birthplace of beauty. Yena dekhe se chand vadan. Anybody who does not see this beautiful form, he's saying, what is the use of the eyes? Senayane ki bakaj paduk tare mundevaj. Let a thunderbolt strike his head. Why? What is the use of living? That's what Mahaprabhu is saying. Senayane rahe ki karan. What is the use of the eyes? If you are not seeing the beautiful form of Krishna, what is the use of the eyes? When Krishna is entering Mathura for the first time, all the Mathura Vasis, all the ladies of Mathura, they are saying, what austerities these gopis must have performed, that they were getting a chance to drink this beauty of Krishna's face every day. Gopya tapa kimacharam yadamushya rupam lavanya saramasamordvamananya siddham trigbhi pibantyanusava bhinavam durapam ekant dham yashasah shriya aishwarasya. What austerity gopis must have performed. Gopyas tapah kimacharam. This beautiful amushya rupam, which is lavanya saram, it is the abode of beauty. Asamordhvam, there is nothing greater or equal to this. Ananya siddham, nobody can achieve this perfection. And gopis were drinking this every day. Krishna's body is the abode of beauty. Lavanya saram, asamordhvam, ananya siddham. Ekanta dhama yashasa shriya aishwarasya. Krishna's body is the only abode of beauty, wealth, and ekant dham yasha, fame. So Prabhupada writes, the only solace for the eyes of gopis is the moon-like face of Krishna. In fact, as a sadhaka, this should be our aspiration. Because the eyes, they want to see all the beautiful things of this world and people of the world. Millions of lifetimes we have tried to be satisfied. We have tried to satisfy our eyes by seeing so many things. None of the things have given a satisfaction. So only one thing can give satisfaction to our eyes and to our mind. If we hear the beautiful pastimes of Krishna and if we take darshan of Krishna. Bhavaoshadha shrotra mano abhirama. Ears can be satisfied when we hear about the Lord. Eyes can be satisfied when we see the beautiful form of the Lord. Otherwise, Bhagavatam also says, if the eyes are not used in taking darshan of the Lord, those eyes are the eyes on the plumes of peacock feather. Barahayite nayane naranam lingani vishno nadidrikshato ye padao nirnam tau druma janma bhajao kshetrani nanu vrajato hareryau. The eyes, they are compared to the plumes of a peacock feather. Barahayite nayane naranam. If you don't see the archa vigraha, somebody may be thinking, Abhi Krishna ka darshan kahan hoga humko? Krishna is standing right there in the form of deities. Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandan. So the purpose of the eyes is to have darshan of the deity form of the Lord. Purpose of the feet, legs, is to go to the places where Krishna has performed pastimes. So therefore, Mahaprabhu is telling, oh my dear friends, please hear me. I have lost all my providential strength. And I have no strength. All my eyes, my ears, my senses, they have all become useless. Krishnera madhuravani amritera tarangini tara pravesha nahi ye shravane kanakadi chidrasam jani hase shravan tara janma hoila akarane. Here Mahaprabhu is saying, if you are not hearing the pastimes of the Lord, your ears are like the holes of broken conch. Nothing comes out, no sound. And then Mahaprabhu says that, why did you take birth? Tara janma hoila akarane, you should have died long back. Prabhupada in this purport writes the whole all the series of verses from the second canto. The ears are compared to the holes where snake lives, if they are not engaged in hearing the pastimes of the Lord. Bilebatoru krama vikramanye na shinvati karnaputena rasya. In that hole, snake lives, and snake is death. If we are not filling our ear holes with Krishna Katha, then we'll fill our ear holes with all the Kukatha, all the Kali Puran will go inside. All the kachara of the world will go inside. Ear has to be filled with something, either Krishna or Maya. There is nothing like void. Something has to be there. So we have to choose what are we putting in our ears. But people of the world, they are so foolish. Mukundmala Stotra describes that people are so foolish. It is such an astonishing thing that people are drinking poison and giving up nectar. Asharyam etadhi manushya loke sudham parityajya visham pibanti. Sudha ko chhod ke vish pi rahe hain. What is this? Namani narayana gocharani. The forms of the pastimes of Krishna, they are like nectar. Tyaktva anyavacha. Are giving up the nectar, one is drinking poison, reading all the things of the world. What is this? Tara janma hoila akarane. Krishna Radharamrit, Krishna Guna Charit, Sudha Saraswada Vinindan, Taraswada Yena Jane, Janmiyana Maile Kene, Serasana Bheka Jihvasam. Tongue is compared to a tongue of a frog. If tongue is not used in speaking about Krishna. Krishnera Adharamrit. Tongue has two functions, tasting and speaking. How to engage tongue? Taste the nectar from the lips of Krishna. What is this? How can we taste the nectar from the lips of Krishna? What is Mahaprasad? Mahaprasad is nectar from the lips of Krishna. There is a whole chapter in Antya Lila that is describing how, devotees, that is, they are tasting the nectar of Krishna's lips. When we taste Mahaprasad, that is tasting the nectar. And if somebody is not speaking about Krishna, the tongue is like the bheka jihvasam, tongue of a frog. The frog croaks and invites death. The people are just speaking about Krishna. What are they doing? They are attracting death. They are just spending time, not realizing how time is coming closer. They are coming closer to death. Just like Bhagavatam describes 10th canto. In the rainy season, their small puddles get full of water. They are connected to river. So river is connected to the small ditch. Fishes, they come and start staying in the ditch in the rainy season. Rainy season goes and the summer comes and the water starts decreasing. Sun is evaporating. The poor fish doesn't realize that the time is decreasing. Yathayu anvaham shayyam nara mudha kutam vinaha. Similarly, people of this world, they don't realize that their time is decreasing every day. And then Mahaprabhu says, if the nostrils are not used in smelling the fragrance of Krishna's body, That nostril is just like the bellows of blacksmith. It seems that the air is going inside, but it is not the case. So what is this nostril? How can we use the nostril? Smell the fragrance of the flowers which are offered to the Lord. Tulasi which is offered to the Lord. And Kaviraj Goswami describes the fragrance of Krishna's body is like camphor mixed with lotus flower. In fact, it is the ordinary comparison. Krishna's body's fragrance is unimaginably great than combination of camphor and flower, lotus flower. 9 parts of Krishna's body, 8 parts of Krishna's body are compared with lotus. Netrana bhivadan karayuga charan Eyashta Padma Krishna Ange Karpura Lipta Kamala Tare Eiche Parimala Sei Gandha Ashta Padma Ange Karpur Lipta Kamal. Camphor mixed with the fragrance of lotus. That is a fragrance which comes from the body of Krishna. Use your nostril in experiencing that fragrance. And then he says the palms of Krishna's hand and soles of Krishna, they are so cool. They are more pleasant than millions of moons. So if one has not experienced this, his life is spoiled. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is lamenting and speaking so many verses. And then he speaks another verse. So we'll stop here. So we'll continue next time. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Or we can stop here. Okay, so I think there are no questions. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Dhanbad. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Caitanya Caritāmrta ki jai. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.